Hey guys, it is Logan Holmes, and it is time for a new series. This series is called Logan Debates, and this is the first episode. This debate will be on the Loud House movie. It will be with Vailskibum94. This won't actually be with like Vailskibum94. This will just be using his video. Here's why the Loud House movie will massively fail. So he thinks it'll fail, but I think it will succeed. So let's begin the debate.
I believe that the Loud House movie is going to fail. When I say that, I don't mean that the movie will turn out bad, since it does have a lot of potential to actually be entertaining. However, I think it's going to fail in the box office, and it's a really bad idea to bring the Loud House to theaters. Let's talk about why. First of all, the last Nicktoon movie not related to SpongeBob that came out in theaters is Rugrats Go Wild, which released all the way back in 2003. It was a crossover between two very popular Nick franchises, the Wild Thornberrys and the Rugrats. It was also the third Rugrats movie to be released in theaters, which is a very recognizable name, so Nick thought that it would do well. Unfortunately, this made $55 million in the box office, which isn't absolutely terrible, but it's below average for a movie that had a $25 million budget. You may be wondering why I'm going on about Rugrats Go Wild, but it does actually relate to this Loud House situation. My point is, if a Nick property seems very popular at the time, there's still no guarantee that it'll do well in the setting of a movie theater. With the Loud House in particular, it's a relatively newer show and definitely not as recognizable as SpongeBob, who always has successful movies because he's extremely well known. Not as many people are aware of the Loud House, so it seems strange that a movie is going to be coming out so soon. You also have to remember that taking an animated movie to the big screen costs a ton of money, and Nick is going to have to make a profit off of this upcoming Loud House one. They may find trouble though, because the Loud House isn't known by every kid in the world like SpongeBob is. Another reason the Loud House...
Okay, this is something that you just never know about. Like you said about Rugrats Go Wild, that's just something that you never know about. But so that didn't mean that it's always going to fail. Because, I mean, because it's not SpongeBob, that didn't mean it'll always fail. And then, the Loud House has grown a pretty big fan base, like, on YouTube, so... So yes, so a lot of the fans will definitely see this. There might not be as many Loud House fans as there are SpongeBob fans, but still, it has its fans, and they will go see this movie. Let's see if there's any other points that I want to make on this. And it probably just won't, it might not be like a bunch of kids seeing it. It might be, a bunch of adults. Like, it's got a pretty big adult fan base, so I mean, it might not be successful among its demographic, but they won't get the expected demographic, but still they'll get like a pretty big fan base, like the fan base. And I mean, they're people, so it really doesn't matter what your demographic is. And of course, there's your Nick fans. From, it's been a long time since the last movie based on a Nicktoon that wasn't SpongeBob. And also, you also forgot to mention about Barnyard. I mean, it's not based on a Nicktoon, but I mean, it became a Nicktoon, so just like Jimmy Neutron. And then there's also going to be the amusement park movie coming out next year, so. But I mean, kind of think of it, that was actually kind of pointless to say for me. So what was my point? But anyway, my point is that you real Nick fans, it's been, at that time it'll be 17 years since the last movie based on a Nicktoon. So yeah, Barnyard and Amusement Park, they became Nicktoons. I mean, they weren't Nicktoons at the time. And then same goes for Jimmy Neutron back in 2001. So basically, it's been 2020, it's been 17 years since the last movie based on a Nicktoon that wasn't SpongeBob, Rugrats Go Wild. So your real Nick fans, they'll go and they'll watch it. So yeah, I think I've pretty much said all I have to say about that.
This movie may fail in the box office is because of the gradually lower ratings of the show. In its first 2 seasons, there have been around 1.5 to 2 million viewers for each new episode. However, Season 3 shows slight signs that the ratings are dropping. It's nothing too noteworthy at this very point in time, but it could give a hint that in 2 more years when the Loud House movie actually releases, it'll be a lot less popular. If that's the case, then it'll be hard to do well in the box office. Nick is gonna really have to work at getting more people to watch their show because everyone goes to the network mainly for SpongeBob and SpongeBob only, so they're gonna have to do even better promotion for this movie. When the trailers come out for the Loud House movie, they absolutely have to blow people's minds or do something crazy because right now it doesn't seem like too many people are going to watch. The Loud House movie is set.
Okay, for that reason, okay, let's. You know what else has had lower ratings? SpongeBob. They were going to, air those episodes when they were doing the episodes on Friday nights, not that long ago, but then they had to cancel some of the episodes. Well, I mean, not really cancel, but I mean, move the episodes, so, because of low ratings. And then the episodes that were supposed to air on Friday night instead aired, they moved them to Saturday morning instead. So, I mean, so it's not just Loud House that has had lower ratings, it's SpongeBob's had lower ratings too. I'm sure Loud House will go back up. And no, not everyone goes to the network to watch SpongeBob. I mean, once again, Loud House, it might not be as popular as SpongeBob, considering that it's lost the Kids' Choice Awards to SpongeBob twice, but it's still popular.
To release February 7th, 2020, which is kind of a bad date to appear. Summer would be ideal because a target audience of kids would be out of school and begging their parents to do stuff, but unfortunately, this movie won't be able to release then. Why? Because the 3rd SpongeBob movie is supposed to be coming out summer of 2020. Yeah, we're getting 2 Nicktoons movies right near each other, so that'll be interesting. But between these films, The Loud House has the short end of the stick. Kids are likely off school for winter break in December and some of January, but by February they'll probably be back and then have less time to actually see the movie. This release date may not affect the box office as much as the other stuff I talked about, but it still would do a lot better if it came out in summer. Overall, it just seems like The Loud House would work.
Okay, here's the thing. You know what else came out in February? The second SpongeBob movie. And it was more successful than the first SpongeBob movie. Which, I mean, of course, the first SpongeBob movie wasn't in, it wasn't in summer, it was in, November, but still, it will still do pretty good. Well, the second SpongeBob movie did, the second SpongeBob movie that did, on February. It was released in February, and it was more successful than the first SpongeBob movie. And you know, it's the second SpongeBob movie is the highest grossing movie that's based on a Nicktoon, and it wasn't even released in the summer. So yes, so just because it's being released in February, that didn't mean it's going to do bad.
Much better as a TV movie. It is so much cheaper, and everyone seemed to like what happened with Hey Arnold the Jungle movie. Taking The Loud House to the big screen is an enormous risk with all the high expenses, and don't forget that it's the first non-SpongeBob Nicktoon movie in 17 years. Who knows, maybe I'm completely wrong and this will do well in the box office, but these are just my personal thoughts and you may have your own. Let me know in the comments. But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give it a thumbs up and comment below to let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Well, you know, more people can end up going to see a movie on the big screen than a TV movie, and plus it wouldn't, the Loud House movie and the third SpongeBob movie wouldn't really conflict, because, you know, because at the time that the third SpongeBob movie's coming out, which is in July, which, of course, that conflicts with the Nicktoons movie, and, which I still think is real, despite a lot of people saying it's fake. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the third SpongeBob movie. And of course the Nicktoons movie, which they're scheduled to come out on the same day, July 31st, 2020. One of them's going to have to be pushed back. But that said, at that time, the Loud House movie, it's going to be out on video. DVD and Blu-ray and all those formats.